Want to retire before you hit 60? I'm going to show you how to do it step by step. By the way, I have a new policy. If you ask me a question and you're not following me, I'm not responding. Some people don't like that. I say, too freaking bad. It's my policy. It sets some boundaries and prevents people from taking advantage. Step one, open a brokerage account. I use Charles Schwab. If you say, what about Fidelity? What about this one? What about that one? I don't know. I've only ever used this one. Go here where it says open an account. Open both an individual and a Roth IRA. Roth IRA is for when you're 59 and a half, so that's the second part of this equation. This video is going to be a little bit of a departure from my normal videos where I say a great idea to consider would be putting a tech fund in the Roth IRA to avoid the biggest tax bill in retirement, because with this video, the goal is to retire before you hit 59 and a half. So with this one, the technology fund is going to go in the individual account, and an S&P 500 fund is going to go in your Roth IRA. You're going to start with $20,000. I know, this is just an example, so if you're early 20s or mid 30s and you can't afford it, this is something to work towards or to aspire towards. You're going to start with $20,000 in a technology-based fund, and then every year after that, you're going to add $7,000 for 20 years. So if you're 30, 20 years later, you'll be 50 and you could retire, because a technology fund, even though it's up about 19% is the average annual return over the last decade, it's very unlikely that it'll continue to go up about 19% every year for the next decade. It's much more realistic to me that it'll probably have returns closer to, say, 12%. If you start doing this when you are 30 and you do it for 20 years, by the time you hit 50, you will have around $750,000 in your tech ETF. And what you're then going to do is withdraw $60,000 per year, which will give you enough to live off of. So in year one, you'll take your 60 grand out and you'll have 690,000. The dog downstairs doesn't stop barking. You'll have $690,000 continuing to grow at 12%. And by the time you hit 60, you'll have $1.2 million. Now, you need to be aware that because it's going to be in an individual account, you will owe taxes on this, so plan for that. I should also note that these won't be your only investments. Most likely you will have individual stocks, maybe an income property. You'll have other things by the time you are in your 50s or 60s. Second part of this equation is a Roth IRA, which you'll max out, which is $7,000 per year in an S&P 500 ETF that has an average annual return of around 10%, and you will do this for 30 years. Which means by the time you hit 60, you will have $1.3 million that you can start withdrawing tax-free. I'm all the way up here now, so you can take a screenshot. Hold on.